Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to JoyNews today. We're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle. We're on DTT because we're free to on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Coming up this afternoon, doctors in One West use mobile phone touch lights to perform surgeries 2 years after theatre lamps broke down. Also this afternoon, anxiety among toll workers union as government prepares to reintroduce collection of tolls on selected roads and bridges across the country. We'll hear from some of the workers and what they make of the reintroduction. Plus, we'll be telling you about how farmers in parts of the Ashanti region are using weather information from the Ghana Meteorological Agency to avoid losses on the farm. More in this week's edition of Climate Focus. And in our Ghana Man series, the spotlight is on the unique community called Zoliba in the Upper East region, where mahogany tree plays a key role. And Chief Executive Officer of the Multimedia Group, Chrissy Chuma, and other trustees of Ghana COVID-19 Private Sector Fund honored for their contribution towards the fight against COVID-19. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Remember, we are also live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at JoyNews on TV. My personal handle is @Aisha. Please stay for details. The Upper West Regional Health Service Directorate says it is working round the clock to fix lights that are broken down at the West District Hospital. It's been almost 2 years since theatre lamps became dysfunctional. Doctors at the hospital are forced to combine 2 or 3 mobile phone lights of nurses to help them perform surgeries on patients. The situation, according to the medical superintendent of the West District Hospital, Dr. Benjamin Amayori, it's impeding work at the theatre and also greatly affecting health care for patients.
Of challenges faced by the West District Hospital is the lack of a theatre lamp. The theatre lamp for 2 years has broken down. They have made several attempts to repair it, but has not yielded the desired results. The West District Hospital serves a district population of 98,901 and beyond the boundaries of the country because of the district's proximity to neighboring Burkina Faso and Côte d'Ivoire. Medical Superintendent of the West District Hospital, Dr. Benjamin Amayori, says the lack of a theatre lamp is greatly affecting healthcare delivery at the theatre.
Permit me to say that it's only one that we have. Ideally, we should have had an overhead one and then a standing one. But we've had a standing one for the years now, and unfortunately, that only one that we had also broke down. It's really affecting service because the lamp is the second eye for us, for both the nurses and the doctors when you are doing an operation. You have your own eyes, but when you are operating and you go into a cavity, a body cavity, you will not be able to see clearly. And it's like walking in the night without a torchlight. You would see that the movement will be difficult. In the same way, navigating our way through the surgical procedures that we do is a bit challenging, but we've had to do without them for close to 7 to 8 months now.
How is he able to perform surgeries without a theatre lamp?
There are times you would have to ask 2 or 3 people to help with their lives. Let me just give you an example. Just this Monday, we had a man who came in with a gastric perforation with peritonitis. In layman terms, a hole in the stomach. And we needed to close the hole to avoid the contents from the stomach from leaking out into the entire cavity. And I had to use 2 lights, one on one side and another on another side, phone lights, to be able to see clearly and continue with the procedure. God being so good, we're able to do it with the experiences that we've had and the commitment of the staff that we have. We are able to do, but it's really challenging because you have to strain your eyes to be able to do it. And honestly speaking, it's very challenging.
Although they have appealed to the Warwards Member of Parliament, Superintendent Retired Peter Lanchen Tubu, Warwards District Assembly, corporate organizations, and benevolent individuals to come to their aid. They are, however, looking at what they can do internally to fix the challenge.
You know, usually most of these things we start with in-house. We have looked at our own capacity and we thought of getting it by ourselves. However, it's a bit expensive. When we made the inquiries, I think it's over 30,000. The last one we got was around 35. That was even about 6 to 7 months ago, and I don't know how it will be now. So we solicited the support of the Member of Parliament for Wild West, and he promised, he made us get the bills of quantities for him, and he promised getting us one. Unfortunately, maybe we haven't gotten it yet. And also the District Assembly has been brought in the known. We are by this appealing to other external organizations who can come to our aid. This is a deprived community, and we have sacrificed to be here to offer the best that we can for the people. And even to be operating for this number of months without the lamp is a testament of the sacrifices that we are willing to go the extra mile to help, but we need support.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam. Watch out.
Speaking on JoyNews a while ago, the Regional Health Director, Dr. Damien Punguiri, says the service is working to have the challenge fixed.
Indeed, this is the first time this issue is coming to my attention as a supervisor. And really, I will say that I'm really disappointed in what has happened. We will dispatch our biomedical engineers to the hospital to assess, find out if it is indeed broken down and whether they can work on it, because they have been working on not only that hospital equipment, but across the other hospitals. So if they can work on it, they fix it. If it cannot be worked on, then we will know what.
In Kumasi, malnourished and sick mothers receive inadequate maternal care, leading to high risk of infant diseases and death. This has been the case at the Suntreso Government Hospital in Kumasi, as authorities call for external help to equip the new mother and baby units. Nanaya Yadom Boache has more.
The insufficient number of equipment at the mother and baby unit of the Suntreso Government Hospital has led to soaring infant morbidity. Each year, over 100 cases are referred to the Suntreso NBU due to the lack of incubators and several other surgical equipment at various hospitals in Kumasi. At the NBU emergency ward, 2 or more newborns are placed inside a single cot for treatment, making the transfer of diseases easy. This is due to the deficit in basic equipment. Dr. Ashura Bakiru is the head of the newborn unit at the Suntreso Government Hospital.
At the mother and baby unit, whereby we admit babies between 0 to 2 months, we usually get babies with breathing problems. And actually, most of these problems need some machines to support the baby's breathing. Apart from that, we always also admit very small babies, whereby you need some machines to monitor how much oxygen they get or how much fluid you are giving. And these things are very crucial, but they are also very expensive. So currently, as we speak, for example, the machine to give them infusion, we have only one. So when you have more than one baby who needs that, you really have to look who need the most. And sometimes it can be very stressful because you know within you that the two babies, both of them need it, but I have only one that I can give the machine and the other one will not get.
So infant morbidity are of great concerns to health professionals here at the Suntreso Hospital. Right behind me, you can see two babies inside a single cot. Ordinarily, it should be a single baby to a single cot. Health professionals say matters of inadequate equipment here at the hospital is of great concern, and the government should do something about it as soon as possible. The hospital seeks external support to equip the mother and baby units.
Like if you look at our mortality, it's still on a higher side. But I believe when we have these machines, we have expertise. We have a lot of pediatricians now. We have a lot of pediatric nurses. We even have neonatal nurses around. So people are able to do the work, but the things to work with are what we're lacking. So what I will say is that we are, should I say, pleading for those who have the capacity to help the unit. They should help us, not only Suntreso Mother and Baby Unit.
Meanwhile, the Women's Health for Wealth Foundation has donated several pieces of medical equipment, including 5 CPAP machines, 5 infusion pumps, and 120 sensors to help curb infant morbidity at the Suntreso MBU. Chief Executive Officer of the foundation, Nana Abena Ekwamwa Boateng, says the challenges confronting the MBU are enormous. She called for more investments into various health units in the country.
The needs are everywhere, but we think that for a very long time, newborn care was not one of the topmost things. You know, the people who come out with the policies are adults like you and me, so we think of things that happen to adults. And we take care of that. So a special focus has to be set on that. There has to be a special team that has to look at what equipment goes towards sick babies and to make a special provision for it. I don't know if they can raise a fund, but like now we know there is a fund for children with cancer and some people have bought into that. Can we have a special fund like that where others who are interested in helping sick babies survive can also put their efforts into?
For JoyNews, Nana Boachi reporting.
Back in Accra and in Parliament, the minority says Health Minister and Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah and some persons and institutions must be stripped of the national honours conferred to them by President Akufo-Addo yesterday. The Health Minister Menu was found by a committee of Parliament to have overpriced the cost of vaccines during the height of COVID-19, while the Information Ministry was cited in the Auditor General's audit of COVID-19 funds of paying undeserving allowances to officials. According to the minority spokesperson on health, Kwapnat Mintakando, these persons are undeserving of the awards. Parliamentary correspondent Kwekwa Sante has joined us with more. Kwekwa Sante, which other institutions did the minority mention?
The minority are putting the Health Minister and Information Minister Kojo on blast. They say that these two individuals do not deserve national honors because of certain infractions that they allege is to have been committed by this person. First, the Health Minister. We know that at the height of COVID-19, government decided to purchase some vaccines from Russia, the Sputnik V vaccines. There were some irregularities that were alleged by the minority. Invariably, a parliamentary committee investigated the matter and found the minister to have done a few things that they thought were wrong. First, they said the minister, in terms of the pricing, overpriced it by more than $10 million. Indeed, the minority have been at the toes of the health minister for some time now. They filed a censure motion against him. It has not been moved and debated in Parliament. That is still outstanding. When it comes to Kojo Nkrumah, the recent COVID-19 audit that was done by the Auditor General revealed that some amounts of money, some allowances were paid to officials at the Information Ministry as COVID-19 allowances and what have you. The audit said that those allowances were not deserved. They did not go through the proper procedures to be paid. And it was a recommendation that those amounts of money should be taken back by the state. It is on these grounds and others that the minority say that these two individuals do not deserve these national honors and must be stripped off. You asked me about other institutions they've been mentioning. They've been talking about Dr. Isiansari, who is a presidential advisor on health. They say that he also has not offered any advice to the president deserving of such national honors. And they've also been speaking about Frontiers Healthcare, Frontiers, which is the institution that have been undertaking COVID-19 tests at the airport. At the height of COVID-19, there were those who said that it was exploitative, it was corrupt, and even JoyNews, some questions that we've sent to the Ghana Airport Company Limited, RTI request to get the full details of the contract have not been released. And so the minority say that that whole deal is shrouded in secrecy, in some corruption, and they want some action to be taken on that. And so they've been mentioning all these persons and turning the blast on them, saying that they do not deserve these national honors. They are demanding that immediately these honors should be stripped of these persons that have just discussed. They say that they are not in principle against national honors, but in terms of these national honors, it appears that people who deserve it and people who do not deserve it have been commingled and been giving awards at the same time. They say that frontline workers who deserve these, healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, anesthetists, and other persons who are the front line of fighting COVID-19, some who lost their life, have all not been even given their allowances and the insurance claim that the president promised. And these are the persons government should be awarding, and not government appointees, government officials who have been cited by committees for engaging in certain impacts.
What else is happening in Parliament?
So Parliament is continuing the debate on the State of the Nation address that was delivered by President Akufo-Addo last week. Today is the penultimate day. Tomorrow, we expect that Minority Leader Dr. Kisila Tuposen and his colleague, the Majority Leader, Chairman Sabonsu, will conclude debate on the State of the Nation address. Currently on the floor speaking is the Member of Parliament for the Buem constituency, Kupi Adams, who has been speaking about what he thought the president should have spoken about in terms of agriculture and how to improve upon the very livelihood of the ordinary Ghanaian. He's speaking on the floor right now. But just also gone by, a group of workers who used to work for Cocoa Board have just petitioned Parliament. They say that they were dismissed unfairly in 1992. They actually went to court and got a judgment against Cocoa Board for them to effect some payments. They say that most of them were only paid 498 Ghana cedis, less than 500 cedis. They say that some of them actually deserve close to 500,000 cedis. And so that 498 fees that was paid by Cocoa Board is woefully inadequate. They sent a petition to the Speaker of Parliament today to investigate. It has been received by members on both sides of the House, and they are promising that they are going to work on it. So it's a packed day. Right after the State of the Nation address, there are some questions for the Attorney General and also the Minister of Officials.
Kwekwa Asante is our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent. We'll be bringing you all of that happening in our subsequent bulletins. Let's do weather right now, because in this day and age of climate change, farming without information on when the rains will come down or when the sun will shine is such a big risk. A weather information platform launched in partnership with the Ghana Meteorological Agency is seeking help to help farmers to take better decisions on the farm. In this week's edition of Climate Focus, correspondent Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin speaks to farmers driving a change with weather information.
The farmer in the Ashanti region's Ejura usually began plowing his fields to prepare them for the major season crop of maize. He needed the rains, but the region's unpredictable weather made it impossible to predict when the rains will arrive.
Over the past few years, we were affected by long dry spells and other things.
As a result, Sedu relies on GMED weather information, which is commonly distributed via social media, particularly WhatsApp. Every morning at about 5 a.m., Sedu must check the weather forecast before planning his day's activities.
You see, when you are going to the farm and you don't have any weather information, then it's like you are in a darkness. Sometimes some of the chemicals you go and apply, it doesn't need rain. You go and apply them, you come home and the rain falls on them, it becomes waste. I think it has helped a lot. It has helped.
Ejura is located in the Ashanti region, which received averagely 1,500 millimeters to 2,300 millimeters of rain per year. During the last 5 years, annual rainfall ranges between 2,500 millimeters to 3,200 millimeters. However, the area shares a boundary with the Bono East regional town of Atibobo, giving it a slightly different weather pattern. To take the guesswork out of farming in a country with unreliable rainfall, the Ghana Agricultural Sector Investment Program GASIP funded the installation of 12 satellite automatic weather stations across the country.
Okay, so the first thing we do is validation. There are man-made stations within the northern sector that have already been calibrated over the years, and so we use those as standards for the automatic stations. So we compare the data from the automatic station with the data we have from the manual station and see how the data from the two stations correlate. If you are able to standardize the automatic station to give you the accuracy the manual station will give you, then you can rely on that. So that's the first thing you do, calibrate the automatic station to meet the standard that you want. Once you get that, the next thing is to quality control the information coming from there. So if you are getting, sometimes it's just sensor, it will probably accumulate some dust, and so we'll be giving you some wrong figures and all of that. So you constantly monitor and see that you are maintaining the place, you are cleaning the sensors quite regularly, and you are monitoring the data to see that every data you are getting from there is something that is realistic.
Your body rests, your money rests, and all that.
His colleagues Abdul Ghaffar Osman and Suleiman Abubakar were in the same boat. Both have lost money in previous seasons.
Last 2 years, for instance, in fact, in terms of monetary, I can say I lost about 12,600 rather, because I plowed my land, I planted, and I have to do the spraying. We had some weeds here, which locally we call it adanko milk. That adanko milk, in fact, if you spray it and you're not lucky, it will not work. Especially immediately you finish spraying, if it rains, it won't work. I had that problem. I have to re-plow the land again and plant. I did, in fact, still I have to go for the third time, because then time I did not know, we were not given the update, so I did not know that the season, the rainfall pattern is small. So I went into it. At the end of the day, I didn't get anything.
But now that they have relied on Seidu for weather information from GMET, they say they plan their day well.
Currently, the platform is helping me a lot to know when to farm farm produce. It helps me to plan well. But in the olden days, you may see the rain raining, you may feel that the rain will go far. You go and plant your plants, you do everything, the rain will stop. But currently, the platform, the way it's effective, it is helping me a lot in my farming.
Very useful, not to me alone, and to farmers. Some of the farmers that are in contact with us, it is very useful. Sometimes people used to call me in the morning and ask, Charlie, how is the weather going to look like this morning? It's like I've become more or less their weather guide.
The agency's principal meteorologist, Nana Kofi Opoku, says that while the agency works with farmers on an irregular basis, he has yet to see a scale-up opportunity to train farmers.
The River Ibrahim is almost drying up, and from what our cameras captured in the forest, the fight against Galamsey is being lost. Residents say excavators are heading the forest daily, destroying cocoa farms in the wake. This is what I gathered, our reporter gathered when he visited a Galamsey site in the Ibrahim municipality.
Deep in the forest, somewhere in the Ibrahim municipality of the eastern region, illegal miners work till their equipment give up. They destroy cocoa farms and palm plantations in search for gold. This is a cocoa plantation in Abakan. It's a community close to Kede and very near the Birim River. Now, the cocoa trees are being cut down by illegal miners. Now, if you can see right behind me, there's a pumping machine belonging to these illegal miners. There's a gallon. Now, what we've seen here indicates that these people were mining some few minutes ago, but just when they heard that the police is heading this area, they bolted, leaving their machine. We've seen the excavators that they were using to do this. Daniel is the son of a farmer whose cocoa farm has been destroyed.
On the 5th, on my friend on my car said, "Nkrofa by assassin." So, they may buy 5th on the 6th, a Monday, and I may buy site. May buy and pambe 2 machines.
I traveled with my father and returned on the 5th. Some people informed us that some Galamseyers have invaded our land. So I came here on the 6th to check, but didn't see anyone working, despite their machines being here. The following day, I brought the CID officers to pick them up, and they were warned to stop working.
He says the illegal miners continue to operate despite several warnings from the police.
They didn't heed to the warning, but they continued. That's why we have brought you here.
Kwadwo Oforiata is a lawyer of a cocoa farmer who has been affected.
The U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Virginia Palmer, says the Accra Initiative approach to eliminating violent extremism and terrorism is one of the best ways of tackling the root cause of the problem. She says complex problems in Africa require African-led solutions. She was speaking during a visitor's day for Operation Flintlock 2023 at Sogakope in the Volta region.
After days of training, some military personnel from different countries taking part in a simulated rescue of a kidnapped government official. It was to put to use what they had been practicing for days. The U.S. Special Operations Command Africa conducted Flintlock 2023 from March 1 to 15 in Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. In a digital press conference on the purpose of Flintlock, Commander of the U.S. Special Operations Command Africa, Rear Admiral Jimmy Sanders, said the U.S. is focused on the threat of Al-Qaeda's continued expansion through the Sahel. He said the concern is that Al-Qaeda will continue to grow and expand through the Sahel and threaten coastal West African countries like Ghana. Hence, it is the primary focus area or threat it is trying to address. Rear Admiral Jimmy Sanders said it is also to deal with maritime threats from the Gulf of Guinea, everything from illegal, unregulated fishing to more common threats of piracy.
So it's a two-way exchange. We're here as partners. We listen to what the African nations want to do, and we help them address the multiple security threats that they have. I'm particularly excited about this year being right here with a special operations training group that's maritime. We haven't done that before, which is another unique element of this. So we're looking at preparing to help our African partners address threats to the north from violent extremist organizations, and also to help them address the multiple threats and challenges that we have in the maritime environment.
The U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Virginia Palmer, says these kind of collaborations are important in eliminating terrorism and violent extremist organizations from our world.
We applaud President Akufo-Addo's efforts to expand the Accra Initiative's work. That work, those solutions that are by Africans and for Africans are extremely important. And the Accra Initiative's regional approach is the type of vision that is needed for coastal West Africa and the Sahel. Complex problems in the region require African-led and African-sourced solutions.
The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, has proposed an increment in the amount paid as road tolls. This is part of steps being taken by the government to consider the reintroduction of the tax policy. In a memo dated 10th March 2023 to Roads and Highways Minister, Ms. Ofori-Atta sought their input on the proposed rates. In November 2021, the Finance Minister announced the cessation of the collection of road tolls subject to the approval of Parliament during the presentation of the budget. He cited congestion and traffic jams at the toll booths as justification for the decision. Well, so how much will motorists be paying now? Let's take a look at the figures. It's coming right on your screens. And there you have it. If you're using a motorbike, the approved fee and charges will be used to be 10 pesos. Now it's 50 pesos. If you're using a car, it's 1 cedi. Pickups 4x4 vehicles, 1 cedi 50 pesos. Light buses, 1 cedi 50 pesos, and then you have it. So if you look at medium goods trucks, they're supposed to be paying 3 cedis. And heavy goods trucks, 3 cedis. Heavy goods trucks, which has 5 or more axles, will pay 3 cedi 50 pesos. So that's what you're supposed to be paying if it is reintroduced. But for the Toll Workers Union, they're still uncertain about the status in the event of the reintroduction. Chairman of the union, Henry Dogbe, says they are yet to engage their employers on the way forward because government has since the suspension not reassigned them.
We received the information yesterday that they will reintroduce the toll. But actually, during 2021 budget review by the finance minister, that the tolls will be abolished in the country, and all the toll workers will actually be reassigned. And until they are reassigned, they will be paying them monthly. But all those bargains, they couldn't actually fulfill none of it. So it was yesterday that we heard that they are bringing back the toll. So we were very happy. Apart from the December 2021 money that they paid, that was off. So they were promised that until we were reassigned, they will pay us every month. But that bargain, they did not fulfill the bargain. So since we didn't receive any money from the government, whether reassigned or payment, nothing like that, no compensation, nothing. We actually booked an appointment with some of them. So we are now going for a meeting. Then from today up to maybe next week, we will actually engage them and then we see the way forward.
And in our Ghana month series, a typical Ghanaian community is unique because of the people who live in it, how they relate with each other traditionally, and sometimes how closely knitted the community is to other communities. Today, in our Ghana month series, we take you to the Napnap district of the Upper East region and tell you how 5 communities together are called the Zoliba people and how a majestic mahogany tree binds them together because of their common ancestors. Correspondent Albert Sori has more.
Pelungu, Damolgo, Lore, Zanlergu, and Daglega. These are 5 distinct communities, each with their chief, elders, and people. But the 5 communities together are called the Zoliba people because of their common ancestor. The founders of each of these communities were siblings born to the same father. The chief of Pelungu, Nab Senrik Sor Sobil IV, narrates.
Zamre migrated from Kusa Zuluk and settled at the current Lore community and gave birth to 5 people. He decided to discuss with them that they cannot all be in one place because those days, war can break out and can come to a disaster. So he decided that the Pelungu, who was his firstborn, Galamsey, should go behind him and settle. Then the Damolgo, who is Yempu, should settle just closer him. And then he decided that the Lore, who is the last born, should stay with him. That's the Yambom. Then Zalerugu, who is Lasovit, was married to Tangazi area, and they could not get the dowry. So the woman decided to move out from the house and also settled as Zalerugu. And Dalaga also moved to the current place, Dalaga.
Over the years, the people of the 5 communities of Zoliba have continued to relate as brothers and sisters. Men and women from the 5 communities cannot marry each other for the simple reason that their ancestors were siblings, and so the descendants, even today, are from the same bloodline. The sense of brotherliness among these 5 communities of Zoliba is so deep that a problem in one community is considered a problem for the rest of them.
And let's take a break on JoyNews. Today, we'll be back with business.
Hello, good afternoon. Let's do business now. I am Beverly Broom. GB Foods Ghana says it is poised to work with government to ensure food security in the country. According to its chairman, Karula Arthur, the company will engage key stakeholders within Ghana's agriculture to continue to expand. She was speaking at the opening of the state-of-the-art tomato cannery. Here's more in the following report.
GB Foods, leading food manufacturing company and producers of Ghana's favorite Gino and Pomo range of products, expanded their production line by commissioning a state-of-the-art tomato canning line in Tema. According to Karula Arthur, the state-of-the-art tomato canning is aimed at reducing the amount of raw materials imported in the manufacture of the company's products, thereby offering more employment opportunities to Ghanaians.
I am pleased to share our commitment to invest another $2 million in a solar plant to power this factory. Finally, we can play also a relevant role in Ghana's food security. We are working very hard to reduce food imports. In fact, this canning line is a key step in reducing the number of ingredients that we need from abroad. And our ambition is to achieve a fully Ghanaian supply chain of tomatoes.
Managing Director of GB Foods Ghana, David Aflu, said the company is committed to investing in Ghana.
Your Excellency, GB Foods believes in Ghana and remains committed to drive investment and grow our footprint in the country today and into the future. And today is a testament to that.
Special guest of honor, His Excellency President Nana Akufo-Addo, was optimistic of the success of the new GB Food tomato canning line and pledged government support.
We're determined to provide stability to our economy, to serve as the foundation for its sustainable and rapid growth. The goal of my government remains constant. We aim to unlock the full potential of the private sector and the Ghanaian sense of enterprise to create jobs and prosperity for all Ghanaians.
GB Foods said it will continue to provide an enabling environment to succeed.
Now, after a difficulty of battling the COVID-19 pandemic, individuals and organizations that went above and beyond in supporting their communities are being recognized for their efforts at the National Honors and Awards 2023. President Akufo-Addo says these individuals serve as an example of what can be accomplished when we come together in times of crisis. Despite the challenges faced over the past 3 years during COVID-19, many have gone above and beyond to lend a helping hand. In recognition of their selflessness and dedication during the unprecedented challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, President Akufo-Addo has awarded a group of exceptional individuals for their heroic efforts in supporting communities through the crisis, from healthcare workers on the front lines to volunteers delivering food and supplies to those in need. President Akufo-Addo says these individuals served as an example of what can be accomplished when we come together in times of crisis.
Scientists, advisors, public health managers, frontline healthcare workers, hospital staff, contact tracers, the security services, public and private sector agencies, faith-based organizations, chieftaincy institutions, charitable organizations, and so many others who dedicated themselves to the fight to keep Ghanaians safe. And that is why we're here today to express our sincere appreciation and gratitude to all these segments of our population.
In the award category of the Order of Voter Companion, the CEO of Multimedia Group, Kwesi Chum, was also honored as the Voter Companion for his efforts in the fight against COVID-19.
CEO Multimedia Group, please step forward. Congratulations, Mr. Chum, on your award.
And that's all for business. We have more business news when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I am Beverly Broom. Next is sports.
Good afternoon. Let's do sports now on JoyNews today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. Chris Hilton has signed his contract with the Ghana Football Association. This according to Executive Council member Nana Odro-Safo. Speaking to Joy Sports, Mr. Odro-Safo said the leadership of the Ghana Football Association considered the former technical advisor of the national team because he's got a certain history with the Black Stars.
If the man have not signed a contract, the man cannot be unveiled. So you have signed.
What are the terms of agreement with Chris Hilton?
That is why we say we are unveiling him. I don't need to jump the gun. Monday you'll be there.
Mr. Odro, Monday I'll be there. I clearly understand it, but you've got people who are interested in the management of our Black Stars. And if Chris Hilton has been given the task to chair the Black Stars, what is the agreement with him like? Is he being tasked to go and win the African Cup of Nations for us? Is he being tasked to qualify?
Are you not convinced that Chris Hilton have gotten the job? Are you convinced that he have the job, or you are not convinced?
I'm not convinced that he has the job.
Okay, Monday, meet us at Kumasi.
What influenced the decision of the FA to hire Chris Hilton?
Oh, I think I spoke to you some time ago when there was a brouhaha about his arrival into the country, that some were saying Gabi, governmental, something. And then we didn't want to set a precedent whereby we will allow any government to give us a coach. Because when you set that precedent, it's going to be haunt you for the future. But the man was interested. We had opportunity to talk to the man on about 3 people spoke to the man one-on-one, and we saw that the man had a desire to work for Ghana. So we said, okay, if that's the case, then we want to make you a technical advisor to be with the team. At least we can monitor you from there. And then we took pains. For instance, I never knew anything about Chris Hilton until he came here. So we started reading about him. And then after the competition, we knew that Otuado, even if he have won the World Cup, wouldn't have stayed because he had a contract and he was going to respect that contract. So he will go. So we will find a coach and a replacement. We met as ESCO and we asked ourselves, what do we do? And we said we should continue. Because the players that we have now are players that we are going to use for the future. Because if you have a players that have the age range of 24 years, then that means they can go in future to about 30 years. So the people who brought them up should be there. And so that's how we did.
Are you suggesting that Chris Hilton was not given the Black Stars coaching job because he was a government choice?
No. Then we have made our plans to go for Otuado. Then they brought him. And we didn't want any imposition. No, it wouldn't have been the best. Because we wanted somebody who knew the team. Otuado knew the chemistry of Ghana Blaster because he had been a Blaster player before. So we took Chris Hilton on board for him to also to go and learn about the Blasters. And he came out successful and we've picked him.
That's your sports for now, but we do have more stories on my joyonline.com and also at 2 p.m. when I come your way with sports today. Up next is Showbiz.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on JoyNews today. This afternoon, gospel musician MOG says it's his wish that leaders of our country will pay more attention to the youth and their development. He spoke to Les Spill on Joy FM.
Obviously, to be about the youth, you know, how God should help our leaders to create room to empower the youth, because we have a lot of power when it comes to energy and young people that are going waste, and we are not creating jobs for them. We are not giving them opportunities to serve in places where it can help develop, you know, the country, and all those energies are wasting. I mean, I travel a lot, and every time I go to the airport, I see a lot of young people traveling outside the country. And you ask them, what are you going to do? I'm relocating. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for our country, Ghana, that you've blessed us with a land of gold, diamond, oil, timber. We have all the resources, Lord. We thank you for the leaders that you have given to us. We pray that, Father, the Bible says that the heart of the king is in your hands and you turn it where you want thereof. We pray that, Father, turn the heart of our leaders to a place where they'll have compassion for the youth.
Away from MOG, hip life artist Prince Bright says he believes he is one of the greatest musicians on earth. Speaking on E-Vibes, Prince Bright stated that his belief stems from the fact that he comes from one of the greatest countries in Ghana, in the world.
I believe not to, but I believe I'm one of the greatest musicians that ever walked the earth. Why? Because I represent Ghana in my heart. And if I put my country first, I would say Ghana is the greatest nation in the whole world. Why? We have everything that the world wants. Everything that the world is actually crying to have. We have gold. We have copper, silver, diamonds. Name the metal, all minerals, we have it. We have good forestry. We have good food. We have good people. You know what I mean? I think Ghana is the most fun-loving country in the whole world.
Well, on that note, we end Showbiz here on JoyNews today. My name is Becky.
And that's how I wrap up the bulletin this afternoon. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Log on to myjoyonline.com for more of the news and updates of all the developing stories. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.